Yeah, this one's powerful, man. I was watching an interview of Justin Owens and Neo, and he was talking about the different ways that you develop a team.
Mhm.
And so I'm listening and I'm like, okay, hold on. This is interesting because he really gives you two sides of the story around one side of it, you're helping people to grow. Like you're literally putting them in your quote unquote G League or minor league system and in the farm system, and you're developing them to one day be your superstar or like pro team player.
Mhm.
The other side of it is you're just going and you're paying big bucks to get the star from the other team. Like, hey, you know what? I see you doing your thing. Why don't you come over here and play on my team? And so it brought me to the point of like, okay, so what's better? Develop the talent or hire the talent?
There's two ways you can grow a team in a business. You can attract leaders or you can develop them.
Yeah.
Right. And so I call it the team that you're developing, I call it like your farm team. The team that you develop, they're always going to stay with you the longest.
Yeah.
If you look at like LeBron, his hardest decision was leaving the team that drafted him. Right. But the hardest team to leave typically
Is that first one.
is the team that helped you to develop and grow the most. And so how can you make your company the place that people grow the most?
I want to know what Nick has to say on this one.
No, go first. Go first. Not fair.
Oh, man. You know, it's crazy because while I'm not even going to say what I truly believe in terms of the strategy part of it, because it would ruin our segment. And I'm not saying like I'm hiding my my thought process. I'll say it at the end. How about that?
Okay,
But
I was like,
I'll say it at the
I'm
end.
not
I'll say it
going
at
to
the
tell
end.
you the truth.
Yeah. No. I'll say it at the end. That's what I meant to say. I'll say it.
I'm going
at
to
the end.
fabricate this whole segment.
I'm just gonna lie. I'm just gonna lie this whole thing out. But I will say, I'm at a point where I'm really leaning towards attracting the talent and hiring ready talent. You know, I know it sounds better to say, hey, yeah, be with the people who that you helped grow. And it's a better story, right? It almost feels like that Hollywood underdog story that came back and looked like they were going to lose the race and boom, oh my God, look happily ever after. But when you're talking about building a business, when you're talking about people's time, blood, sweat, money on the line, I don't know that it's recommended to constantly make the sacrifice and go to invest the time in having to, say, develop someone in the hopes that they grow to be what you expected. There's a lot of variables that go into that.
Right.
And so if you would have asked me this question a couple of years ago, I would have said, oh yeah, no, develop the talent all day. You'll save a couple dollars and they'll be the most loyal. You guys could be friends and go hang out and have lunch together. It's like you have a friend and a business partner all in one. Now, today, I'm just like, I don't know that it's worth the time investment. Unless it happens organically, of course, no one is going to say, yeah, nah, you can't. You're hungry, you're determined, you're driven, you're talented, and you're willing to make the sacrifice to be a part of the team. And so, nah, I don't do that over here. No one's going to say that, right?
Mhm.
But for the sake of the business, I'm just going to have to say, hire the people who are ready to fulfill and deliver and stop waiting. That's my take.
Okay. All right. That's a good take.
Take.
I like that take. I don't know if it's the honest take, the way that you just posed this, but
No, I'm gonna tell you after. I just want to hear what you had to say.
so I'm a little bit of both. I'm a little bit
That's
of
what I
both.
was gonna say.
Okay, well, I'll say the truth.
Wow, that's crazy.
I live in my authentic self.
See, I'm over here trying to have a show, people. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't
Right,
say
right,
what I'm gonna
right.
say because then it's
No,
gonna
no.
ruin the section. The section is called this or that. So I'm like, I
Right,
can't say
right.
both.
No, but follow me because there's
Okay,
always a leaning of more of one. There's not equal. for me. There's not equal.
Okay, fair.
So-
Okay.
So I'm big on not wasting time, right? So for what you said, yes, I agree with that as far as stop wasting time, get the talent, invest in talent. Now, what I've realized with that is that talent knows their talent, and some of them don't have time for what you need, right? And what do I mean by this? So if you are building a brand, not one that is established, Fortune 500 kind of vibes, got the org chart all great and Gucci. I'm talking about you just got your org chart. I'm talking about you just figuring it out, all the different roles and responsibilities. Some of y'all not even at that point, right? I've realized those people who have the talent don't have the time. The true dedicated time to build, right? The true time to do what it takes in certain times of uncertainty, right? They know they're good, as they should, right? We get to a point like, I'm not in the building phase. I'm here to elevate, right? Hence why you would get them, because they're going to take you to the next level. So if you're not ready for that type of talent, don't, right? But I appreciate the drive, the openness, and the enthusiasm of core people who you build into leaders. You will always hear me talk about Isaiah because of how he just thought about editing to now being head of visuals for Nicky and Moose and head of visuals for my personal brand, right? Because he has a team. He went from I want to now I have a team, and the loyalty is there, the dedication is there, the time is there, even at those times where there was nothing that was really moving, right? There was no sway, there was no, I'm going to look at something else or anything like that, right? And all he wanted to know, what are you reading? Yo, what did you do? What did you watch? And I would share a book, and he'd be done in like 2 days. Read it. Like, wait, what? I was just showing you what I read. I didn't know you were gonna read it. He's like, chapter 5 is pretty good. What? Reading more leadership books than I ever have. Right? It is the people that have the drive that I seek for, that I see that is going to take to the next level. And when we attract, and by doing that, it shows that we build from within. So now there's other people who have certain talents within the community that's saying, hey, I got y'all, right? No problem. Because they see the growth amongst those people who started at just, hello, I'm interested, to now they've become full-blown front runners. And so for me, I'm going to say, the once again, the building within, and turning them into the beast that they are, the monsters that they are in their own lane. Now, does that backfire sometimes? Absolutely. Because you may see potential in people that aren't ready to take that spot. That's a whole nother topic, and that's a whole nother problem. I don't think it's a bad problem, because that still means you are attracting the right people. You just haven't hit their trigger to where they open up and be like, I am that person, right? So But there are going to be a time in the business side where I'm just going to have to, let me dish out this money, and get the talent for this part, and let's see how it rocks, right? Let's. But I won't have the expectation of you have my best interest. You're just really good at what you do, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're really good at bringing in the money. You're really good at the systems. You're really good at that. But in the beginning, I believe in having that bond and that loyalty to an extent. And then once that's there, then I can hire those people who are just literally there for the skills. So that's what I
That's
said.
good. I like that. People who have the talent don't have the time. That's real. That's very real. Time is a lot more limited on a talented person's schedule than someone who's up and coming or really unsure. So that's a really good point. But yeah, I have to agree. I didn't want to kind of come out the gate and mess up or this or that section. So I was like, all right, let me just play devil's advocate and pick a stance on this one. But I do have to say, the new strategy really is both. I was actually talking with a close friend of mine earlier today, and I told him one of the gaps in your business is that you don't have enough domestic talent. Like, a lot of your talent is foreign. You're trying to operate in the States, and at some point you're going to grow, and he's scaled tremendously, right? Because think about being able to scale with international talent. Your margins are significantly higher. You're able to get them to maybe do a little bit more work. There's a lot of benefits to it. But at the end of the day, you reach a point where you don't have enough people that are growing at the level that you're growing at. So there's a gap between leadership and the rest of the team, a significant gap. At the end of the day, you still want to feel as though you're running with a pack, right? Like any one of you can jump out front. And even if it's not to the greatest ability of the leader, but anyone from the pack can at least jump up and hold it down for a second, right? Like when in sports, when the head coach gets thrown out, the assistant coach can fill in and it's okay. The game can go on. Mm-hmm. So I was explaining to him, I said, dude, the gap is so significant in your team right now that you're starting to get almost uninterested and bored. And so you want to now take a step back and go, younger talent that you have to pay for, but you're at a sweet spot because you now have the infrastructure to actually train and develop. And so ultimately, that's the balance of both. Mm-hmm. I'm not going completely on the hopes of, I'm just hoping I get some people to come and volunteer and I don't have to pay a salary. No, that's very wishful thinking, and it takes a long time to build that way because there's a lot of turnover and you got to hit the lottery to really make it happen. But to get to the point where you're willing to make the investment, hey, I'm going to go and pay because I know that, that there's a commitment there. But at the same time, I'm not going to neglect the importance of developing talent, right? Because at the end of the day, you still have to grow your team and all that. So definitely, I'm with you on the both part. I had to kind of circle around my answer, but there it is.
But let me make it clear. I'm more on the farming one that Justin said, the grow the leaders within, grow the team within. I'm more for that in this season. I'll say in this season, I'm more for that right now.
Good answer. Yeah.